Hello and welcome to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Values Vortex. We've been learning about op art, which was popular in the 60s, as was Dr. King, and we'll be talking about values like ideals, but we'll also be talking about value in the sense of shading. So I'm going to demonstrate here real quick what I mean. You've probably done this before. So for this shape, I'm going to be filling it in, but first I'm going to be using a light shade with my pencil, and as I work towards the sides of my can here, I'm going to be filling in each layer a little bit darker. So I do a light layer, then I come over with that with another slightly darker layer, and then I add another slightly darker layer, a little bit smaller, until I get all the way to the edge, where I darken the edge. After that, I can blend my layers by smudging it with my finger. It will make your finger a little dirty, but that's okay. And then if your middle gets smudged, that's okay. You can lighten it up with your eraser. So we'll be using both kinds of value in that today. As for materials, you'll need a regular sheet of paper, a pencil, a marker, and maybe something to color with. So go ahead and collect your materials, pause the video, and meet me back here. Did you get all your stuff? I hope so. Let's get started. First, all I need is my pencil and paper. I'm going to start by making a vanishing point. Like we know from previous lessons in optical art, we're making an optical illusion today. So the middle of my paper is going to be where everything is vanishing to. From there, I'm going to draw 8 wavy lines that come out to the edge of the paper from my dot, from my center vanishing point. So, wavy lines coming out in each direction. I've got 6, there's number 7, and number 8. Looks kind of like a peppermint to me. Alright, there's our 8 wavy lines. Next, we'll need to talk about values of Dr. King. So attached, I have put in a video, and maybe you've been learning some stuff about Dr. King. I went ahead and wrote down a bunch of words on a note card that I thought exemplified values of Dr. King, and I picked the 4 most positive ones I could think of. There were a lot of good things that he had values of. So I'm going to go ahead and write my words into my weird wavy triangles here. Put one at the top, and I'm making my letters fit that weird wavy triangle. Non-violence, or non-violent protest. I thought this one was very important for Dr. King. He explained in many of his speeches how violence is not really the tool of the strong person, but non-violence is actually what takes more strength, and I respect that a lot. At the bottom here, we also have reform, or reformer. He was a reformer. He was somebody who was dedicated to trying to make things better than they were. So next, we're going to add in our value lines in between our word lines. So we're going to draw these like circles in between our word triangles. So you can see I'm drawing one circle around another, and stopping where my word spaces are. This might take you a minute. You don't have to go too fast. And also, this is very important, your circles don't have to line up perfectly. That's okay. If they're not perfect circles, that's totally fine. The illusion will still work, and we'll still have something really cool at the end. So don't worry about it too much. Just go ahead and mark those circles onto your paper. Alright, I've got my circles. I'm going to take my black marker and outline everything. I'm going to make my letters nice and thick and bold so they can be seen. Those values can be seen, those ideals. I You might have different words. In fact, I would encourage you to come up with your own ideals or values to put in there. But now I'm going to start adding my value to the inner circle lines. So like in my demonstration, I'm making the edges shaded and leaving the center part just a little bit blank. Now you can do that a number of ways. I'm trying to color in my sides first. Sometimes if I mess up, I'll go in and erase that middle part if I make an incorrect mark. If you've got a very small space like this, you can just color in the whole thing and then erase the middle if that's easier for you. Alright, let's take a closer look. There we go, it's starting to come together. Now I'm going to skip the next circle and I'm going to put value into my next one after that. How do I do that? I'm starting on the edges. I am putting in a layer of light shade and then I add another layer. Let's see, I'm going to do this one next. Shade lightly, leaving the middle blank. Then I come and do another layer, slightly darker. Slightly darker. How do I get it darker? I just press a little bit harder with my pencil while I'm shading. There we go. And remember, you can blend together your layers if you need to. You might be able to do it without blending with your finger, that's okay too. I erase the middle, make sure I've got that pure empty space in the middle. There we go. And that looks like light shining on a kind of metal surface. This is going to take the most time out of any part of this project, I think, so take your time with this, don't rush. I find it's actually pretty fun to do. You can do this kind of value shading on all sorts of things. You don't just have to use a regular pencil, you can do this with other colors as well. In one layer at a time, slightly darker each time, just a little bit darker. Alright, hopefully you've got the idea from watching my example. I'm going to do the rest of it kind of fast, but you can still see how it works. As you're filling in your values, you can turn your paper just so that your hand doesn't smear across the whole paper, so you can get to the parts that you need to get to easily. And when you're done, you should have something that looks kind of like this. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add color to my word values, my ideals. And you might choose a color that you think goes along with the idea that is expressing. Well, in the end, I hope you have something that you are proud of, and I can't wait to see what you make. See you in the next video. Bye for now.